Hey, what's up? My name is Arthur Weiner, and when you start shooting photos, almost the first thing you want to do is correctly blur the background. Blurry background with bokeh effect is a perfect way to separate main objects in the frame from the secondary ones. Any experienced photographer will say that good background blur can be achieved only through optics, but we have an issue with such an approach. To get a fantastic looking bokeh, you need to buy really expensive lenses that have really narrow apertures like f1.4 or f1.8. The results you get from such lenses will definitely look fantastic, but the price you'll pay will be enormous. Now, you are probably wondering how I plan to achieve great bokeh shots without expensive lenses. Here at PhotoWorks, we believe that to create great shots, you don't necessarily need expensive gear. Most of the time, even an entry-level camera with relatively inexpensive lenses can produce stunning shots, especially if a tiny bit of photo editing is involved. Real beauty comes not from the camera, but from the photographer. A good photographer sees the scene and can effectively use editing software to fix imperfections caused by equipment. And to evolve as a photographer, you need to polish your editing skills so you would never be limited by your gear. In this video, I will show you 3 effective methods for creating bokeh on a budget only with photo editing software. The first 2 methods will be quite easy and give decent results, and the third one will really push the limits. It will be more time consuming, but believe me, the results will be well worth the effort. To edit shots, I will use the PhotoWorks app because it has a wide range of functions that allow unlocking the true potential of shots. Intuitive interface and powerful tools make this app equally useful for pro photographers and for real rookies. Color correction, retouching, photo stylization, you name it. And just try it out for yourself. The app has a free trial period, so you could check out the functionality. Use the link in the description to get the full version of the software at a discounted price. I'm sure you will like it. For the first blurring method, I will use the radial filter. Let's use this photo. I want to blur the background around this object to visually separate it from the background. Open the retouch tab and select the radial filter. Now hold down the mouse button and drag it to create an oval. Place the oval over the tower and make it a little wider, higher, and slightly change the angle. Adjust the oval so it would cover the subject as accurately as possible. We're gonna blur everything outside the oval, so make sure you've selected outside. Now go to the sharpness tab and drag a blur slider a bit until you're satisfied with the amount of blur. By pressing and holding the eye icon, you can see the before version of an image. This blurring method isn't very precise, and adding too much blur will give you away quickly. I recommend keeping the blur low so everything looks organic and real. This method is very fast and would be perfect for making small adjustments and focus enhancements. The second method will use the adjustment brush. In the retouch tab, select adjustment brush. With this brush, we will be painting all over the background. Remember, you can use more than one stroke. There is no need to try and do everything in one go. Start with a bigger brush to select most of the area that will be blurred and play with the brush sizes a little until the selection is nice and accurate. This may take a while, so don't rush things. Each time you release the mouse button, the blur will already be done, so pay attention to overlaying your brush strokes. In the sharpness tab, you can adjust how much blur you need by adjusting the amount. I'll set mine to 83. This should do the trick. Next, zoom in on your image and make the brush size smaller to more accurately treat the borders. Again, as you release the mouse button, the effect gets applied. When you're happy with the result, hit apply. This approach takes more time than the radial filter, but is much more precise. Adjustment brush may take more time to use, but the process itself is very easy and intuitive. PhotoWorks does really make complex processes easy. The third approach works by replacing the background altogether. For demonstration, I will use 2 photos. This photo will serve as a background image. Go to sharpness and increase the amount of blur either by dragging the slider or by typing in the number. I will set mine to 85. Then save the image. As our foreground subject, I'll use this person. I will simply cut it out of one image and paste onto the background with some tweaking. Separating our subject from the background is extremely easy in PhotoWorks. Open the image and go to Tools, select the Change Background. With a green colored brush, roughly mark the subject. It doesn't have to be precise at this point. Then switch to the background and a red brush. Repeat the process. As you can see, the program has handled the image really well, and I wasn't even zooming. But there are still some spots that require tweaking. Zoom a little more, and with a red brush, I'll delete this part that wasn't deleted on the first step. A few more clicks here, and switch to a green brush. Use it to fix the face that got damaged, click next, and proceed to the second stage. On this stage, you can edit the selection more thoroughly, and that's exactly what I'll do. I'll pick the red background brush, and by changing the size and softness, go over the borders of our subject to fix small imperfections. With a tiny brush, I'm going over the borders to make them sharper and more realistic. Zoom in as needed to fix every little mistake, because even the smallest issue can ruin the final result. Yes, this selection takes time, but the results will be worth it. Also, the new background plays an important role. If you paste your subject on a uniformly colored one, like this plain color, you will see every little flaw of the background removal. Try picking up more complex backgrounds so that they would hide small imperfections. Click next when you feel like you've done enough. On the third stage, you can actually change the background without saving this image as PNG or doing all that mumbo jumbo. Click on Select Background Image, load my own, and pick the blurred one we created earlier. Now you can freely move the foreground subject and change its size. It seems like I haven't noticed some imperfections during the background removal, and don't worry, that's not a problem. I click back, and using the background brush, fix that small issue. Click next. Again, as you see, the background we've selected is still in its place, nothing has changed. To further mask the edges, slide the Extend Edge slider a bit. It already looks great, doesn't it? To further hide our edits, you must make sure that lighting and colors look realistic. Both the foreground object and the background should match in colors, tones, and lighting direction. In our case, well, we're lucky, it all looks great from the start. But I will still make some tweaks using the built-in function that intelligently adjusts exposure and colors until they match. Find the slider adapting colors to the background and drag it to the right. Boom! Done! So, here you go! Those were the 3 methods to create background blur and object separation in your shots. I think it's great that PhotoWorks allows you to achieve good-looking results fast and slow. Choose an approach based on your needs and free time and make your photos even better. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Whether you are an amateur or a professional photographer, hit that subscribe button to never miss our videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.